What do you turn to when you're suffering? What do you turn to when you feel lonely? You feel abandoned, you feel worn down, beat up, you feel like a loser. What do you turn to? Is it a person? Is it a place? Is it an idea? Is it material possessions? You see, we all have something that we turn to when we're feeling down, when we're feeling neglected, when we're feeling worn down. But there's only one right answer. We should be turning to Him. See, I have firsthand experience with this. Coming from sunny California, spending all my time outside, seeing all these nice cars, seeing all these nice things, nice restaurants, beautiful women. I looked around me when I felt worn down, when I was asking, why do I feel this way? And to compensate and to try and make myself feel better, I started thinking, wow, maybe I just need to buy more things. Spending money is the answer. Or looking or setting my goals to buy more things is the answer. I bought a car. I bought a really nice bicycle. Those two are the major purchases that I bought, but I still didn't not buy other things. I still went out to eat. I still bought some clothes and some experiences. I went skydiving, and after every single one of those experiences or material possessions or meals, they didn't satisfy me. It was only until I moved here to Texas and I got reacquainted with hardship where I said, I'm going to approach this differently now. Instead of turning to the world for comfort, I'm going to turn to the Lord. So I opened up the book of Job and I started reading it. And ultimately I started to understand, after I read the whole thing, that I don't need to understand. In fact, there was one verse in here, chapter 5, verse 17, that really helped me, that put purpose behind my suffering, where it says, "Behold, blessed is the one whom God reproves. Therefore despise not the discipline of the Almighty." Now my situation for turning to the Lord in this hardship was not like Job's. I didn't have my whole family killed, all my possessions robbed of me, my servants killed, my herds of sheep and livestock stolen or burned. But it felt like that in the moment. I had originally drove here to Texas anticipating that I would get this nice room, this dormitory. That I would get put in this private spot with a couch and with a kitchen and a bigger bed and my own bathroom. When I got there, and I realized, wow, this part of Texas is not as pretty as the part of California I was in. There's not beautiful restaurants and beautiful women and beautiful cars driving around. And I got put up in some small dormitory with a twin bed and less privacy than I had before. And I saw the room that my friends were in, that my peers were in, and I said, why me? I was supposed to get this dorm. Lord, I was praying to you that I would get this dorm so I could have some room to myself, so I could be able to go to bed and have a good sleep schedule and not be kept up by my roommate playing video games. So I could have a kitchen so I could start eating healthy again. I said, why me? Why? I thought I was doing good enough. I prayed to you about it. Why didn't I get it? It's funny looking back now because it seems so insignificant compared to what Job went through and compared to what other people go through. But in the moment it felt that big to me, right? Because I was putting putting all my anticipation, all my hope on receiving that room, and I didn't. Come to find out, this place, at the time, I was like, wow, this place sucks compared to where I was. And I whine and I moan and I complain for a total of like 5 hours. And I made a decision right then and there. I said, I'm not going to turn to material possessions. I'm not going to turn to just complaining. I'm going to turn to the Lord. So I looked up on the internet, what book should I read when I feel like I'm going through hardship? And Job was the first book that came up. And I started to read it. And, excuse me here. I started to read it. And I started to find comfort in knowing that what I was going through was happening for a reason. And I started putting post-it notes in my wallet. Notes that are still here, that script or that quoted scripture. Job 8, verses 11 through 13. Another one here. Job verse 5. Job chapter 5, verse 17, that same verse I just read. Behold, blessed is the one whom God reproves. And within an instant, my pain and my suffering, as insignificant as it seems now, had a purpose. Now that purpose, I'm not going to sit here and claim that I know it. But I found a little bit of purpose knowing that, wow, it just got me closer to the Lord. Because for once, I was confronted with something that I could not control, and instead of doing something in my own free time and, cursing and running around, I'm like, oh, screw this, I'm just going to go do I turned to the Lord. I surrendered. I said, Lord, I know you have a purpose behind this. I know that you know what you're doing. I have faith in you. For the first time, I put my faith in the Lord. I said, I don't know what's going on. I thought I was supposed to get this room, and I didn't. But there's a reason behind it. I know it. After going through this little bit of hardship and reading and praying about it every morning, not about getting the room, but praying about this hardship that I felt I was going through, 2 weeks later, after arriving here, I got told I was moving to the room that I originally thought I was going to get. That's why you see I got a couch here, I got a kitchen, I got a bigger bed. I took that as a blessing from the Lord, but I did not say, okay, now I got what I want, I'm not going to turn to Him anymore. I ask about that question I posed in the beginning about who do you turn to or what do you turn to, kind of aligns with the video that I made last week. Last week I talked about the book of Ecclesiastes and how turning to material possessions is not going to fulfill you. About how King Solomon, the richest and wisest man in history, 700 wives, and has experienced every single experience known to man under the sun at the time. He said nothing fulfilled him. It was all vanity. It was all worthless in the end. And that brings me to this point here is because I have another story. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I was having kind of a rough weekend. It gets lonely here on the weekend. I'm feeling a little down. I'm feeling annoyed with myself because I'm over here not doing what I feel the Lord is calling me to do. I'm straying away from Him. I'm telling Him I'm going to do these things, and I'm feeling called to do them, but I'm not doing them. That's frustrating. See, I got to get out of here. I got to go for a drive. And I go for a drive, and I get in my car, and I crank the music up. I'm listening to that secular music, that rap music. I'm driving a little faster than I should. And as I'm doing it, I'm doing this thing that I would always turn to make me feel better about my situation, to say, you're going to be disciplined, this is all going to blow over soon. I'm listening to this rap music, this Key Glock, and I'm driving. I just just stop. I slow down, I turn that music off, and I say, what am I doing? It's not fulfilling. I was turning to the world yet again, and yet again it proved to be not fulfilling. So I turned that music off, I turned on some worship country music, and I went and I spent a couple hours with the Lord under the stars. The point of me making this video here is to kind of piggyback off of what I made last week, is to tell you that in your suffering, have faith and know that the Lord knows everything and He knows what He is doing. Your suffering has purpose behind it. And the only true way to know that and to believe that and to have faith in is to read the book of Job. But the second way is listening to someone like me telling you. But I encourage you to go read it right now. And while you're in that suffering, and you're starting to understand a little more, there's purpose behind it, lean into the Lord more. The more you lean into Him, the easier it's going to get. If you go and you read the book of Job, you say, okay, there's purpose behind my suffering, but you don't turn to Ecclesiastes after, and you try and lean on your own understanding of what makes you happy, of what's, yeah, you know what, I'm feeling like crap right now, I'm feeling beat up, but I'm just gonna, I'm gonna go and party, I'm gonna go do drugs, I'm gonna go get drunk or go sleep around because I think that's what makes me happy. You're not doing it right. There's purpose behind your suffering, and know that no matter what position of life you are in right now, that our overall general purpose is to serve the Lord. It says that in Ecclesiastes. It says that right here. So have faith and keep turning to the Lord. Keep turning to His knowledge in this little book here called the Bible. Turn to Him, spend time with Him, pray with Him. Because while I may not have gone through or I'm going through what you are going through, because I'm not discrediting your situations, I know that for me, I've turned to the world when I felt down, and I've turned to the Lord when I felt down. I've lived with the world when I've lived with the world, and I've lived with Jesus, and I would pick option 2 every single time. I will always pick the Lord. I will choose the Lord when I'm suffering. I will choose the Lord when I'm doing great. Because every single time where I'm feeling down, I turn to Him, I do it right, I feel much better. What's your plan now? Now that you know there's purpose behind your suffering, and that the best, your purpose, the way to feel fulfilled is to turn and live for the Lord, what are you going to do now? What changes are you going to make in your life? What changes are you going to make in life knowing that you are free from sin? Let me know. Y'all have a great day, and have a blessed day.